in here, and we have some signs, it appears, saying dirt. And that is because one of my moderators, who has been gone for a whole month, is back today. Hopefully they join us soon. They went to go eat lunch, but Horizon's back. And I promised Horizon 1 dirt. And I have a surprise for them. Hopefully we can give it to them once they are online. But oh boy, have I been messing around off stream with Super Factory Manager as well as RF Tools Control, because I never really used RF Tools Control. It's actually really interesting. It's kind of difficult to understand the programming language at first, but I think I've gotten most of it down. It's a very simple in the sense of, for instance, what we would do is we would set the time. See if I can find it. So we would want a repeating event here, and we would say every 2 ticks? Why can't I? Oh, here we go. We would do a constant, because that's all we need, is every 2 ticks. We would run probably... Oh, that's how many times it runs. So every 2 ticks, we would, for instance, count the items in an external storage, and if we liked what we had, we could transfer items. It's really cool. You basically just place everything in patterns. It's for programming. And it reminds me a lot of Unreal Engine's blueprint system. And it's kind of cool. Hey! Brian Mortensen just subscribed. Oh, there we go. There goes the lights. Brian, thanks so much. 5 months in a row. You're a boss. Thank you so much. But I'm still learning RF Tools Control, especially taking the processors and writing the programs, connecting the nodes, creating the frequency and the signal channels, and using workbenches with crafting cards. And it's actually, it could be an absolutely fantastic early game auto crafting system. And I think I'll play more with this on the private server rather than here on the public server. But the reason I was messing with Super Factory Manager, which for anyone who doesn't know, I didn't know they did this, and it's phenomenal. The Super Factory Manager, which is absolutely, hands down, the most efficient item, fluid, energy, any transportation for servers that's out there. Nothing beats it. It is the best performing. But it's difficult because you have to code the programs. They've added so many examples to help teach you the coding system and give you example programs. And one of them here, I wish I knew this at the start. There's an example program to do all your AE2 processors from a single chest and connected to the inscribers. And what we can see here in the language says every 20 ticks do the following. We're going to input from materials. Now, when you see that materials, that's a label. And we would label a chest that's connected via a pipe or a network cable materials. And what we would do is it's listed the resource. So from the materials, output gold ingots to logic, and logic would be what we would label an inscriber in slot number 2. Output diamond to engineering, slot 2. Output Certus quartz crystal to calculation, slot 2, etc. Silicon. And lastly, redstone in last. And last would be your 4th inscriber, or 5th inscriber. And then output the printed silicon to slot 1 in last, as well as output the other printed circuits to slot 0 in last. Now, in the recent updates, so here was my problem with SFM. The problem was if you tried to do multiple inputs, you couldn't designate which input you were specifying for an output. Well, they added the forget modifier, or language code, however you want to say it, which is after it does this part of the program, forget. And forget means it forgets the input that it has already found. Now we say input from the logic engineering calculation and silicon west side, as in pull from the west side of the machine, and output it to materials. So back to this materials chest. And then forget that input. And now input from last, which is the final processor's output to results. And that would be your second chest of results. I want to show just how easy, if you were early game, this would be to set up. It's absolutely phenomenal. So what we're going to do is you need a program disk for any program. Now, normally you would edit it yourself, but these examples, if you click done, it inputs the program. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Potential spam. I think I'll ignore it. But the thing is we don't have the cables connected yet. So for now, I'm just going to wipe the disk with no program, and we're just not going to have it running. Or what I could do here, actually, let's do this. View examples, we'll just input this. We'll have it running. And what we're going to do is we need 5 inscribers. So let's grab these 4 and another inscriber. And again, you don't have to code this. It's an example. This is how fast, because these are cheap. Iron bars, lightweighted pressure plate. The factory manager itself is also pretty cheap. If you take a look at it here, it's 4 chests, 4 cables, and a repeater. Like, I'm going to do this on the private server, let me tell you. But we're going to need a label gun and some inventory cable. So from our factory manager, let's place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2 for our input-output chest. Obviously, you don't have to do, you could place them on top, touch any part of the cable, but we'll put our inscribers. And what we're going to do is in these, we're going to say automation can access slots from specific sides and do not auto-export. We're going to do that on all of these. And then we're going to check the program. So in order, it goes logic, engineering, calculation, silicon. So let's grab logic. Uh-oh, we don't have... Okay, we've got Certus Essence. We're fine. But we need logic. We need a calculation. And engineering. It's like there is one. And a silicon. And again, the order isn't important. It's when we label the machines. I'm just doing this to make it easier for me, but we're going to go logic, engineering, calculation, silicon. So logic, engineering, calculation, silicon. And then for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to speed these up for us. Good afternoon, sweetie. Good afternoon, boss. How you doing? This new gaming setup? Yeah, I redid my studio. Granted, everything behind me is a mess because I am still cleaning up. I have a lot of cleaning up to do. Boss now, eh? Yeah, why not? But my lights react to any time. For instance, we just had a resubscriber. If I show this here, let me do this. You're looking good. Thank you. Thank you. But guys, let's continue with the example. We got Almer here, my old guildmaster from WoW, who still holds immense respect from me. Great guy. So let's keep going here. I'm just gonna grab 2 iron chests. We'll grab 2 iron chests. So we're gonna need a sophisticated chest and another iron chest, and then I'm just gonna put some basic stack upgrades in here. We'll just grab a couple of these. And we'll put one down here. Here, this will be our input output. So now here's how we get it set up, everybody. We've got all the pre-work done. Everything's set up how it's supposed to be. What we're going to do is, if you read the label gun, it says right-click a factory manager to push labels. Right-click a factory manager while sneaking to pull labels. Hold control to apply labels to blocks of the same type adjacent to cables. So what we're going to do is sneak right-click, and we have pulled labels from the manager. Those labels are all of these logic engineering materials, last, etc. And if we sneak and right-click, down at the bottom you can see we have the labels. So we know this is our last, engineering, calculation, silicon, results, materials, and logic. And then we push them back into the manager. And just like that, it's done. The only other thing we would need to do is power these. So let's just quickly power these. You could write this program to actually do power as well. I just want to show the example program. Let's grab a flux point here, have it power the machines, and we'll just give it a basic upgrade so it can do all the power. And now when we're holding this, we can see this was our materials section. And I'm going to reload it. Looks like we are good. So the inputs for this system are as follows. Silicon, which we'll need 3 stacks of. Obviously, it would do any amounts. You would just feed the materials into the chest. I'm just thinking, to make a stack of each processor, what would we need? We'll need a stack of gold ingots. Stack of Certus quartz crystal. And a stack of diamonds. And then 3 stacks of redstone. Now, behold, as I place these all in the material chest, this manager, as you can see, and it's telling us the tick time it is using. The initial hump of only up to 5 ms. That's amazing. And it tells us where it's at. It's currently handling all of the item transportation, putting them over here to last. And it's, you'll notice, since we only have one last, right now it's doing engineering. It can only do one type. It actually stores the other printed circuits in the material chest and outputs them all here, just like that. That's how easy you could set up automatic processors early game. Super Factory Manager is amazing. The only other thing I wanted to do, I think I'll just let this finish. There's no reason to not get these processors. I want to show you some of the other examples before we dive into other projects today. Let's get another factory manager so we can view examples. Oops, not edit, view examples. It demonstrates that it can input and output based on sides and slot numbers. That's the big important thing, is you can designate the slot numbers. In terms of resource type, it can handle, if we scroll all the way down, we can see it can handle fluids, forge energy, gas, infusion, item, pigment, and slurry. Which is just, this thing is so great. It can do redstone signals. It can do just basic item movement. If you just wanted a very quick pipe, input certain item from A, output certain item to B. Simple as that. You can set limits. Now what that means is there's what they're showing here is all the different ways you can do the limits, which is you can specify how many it pulls. You can specify the type it pulls, how many of the type it pulls, how many it pulls but leave 3 or leave an amount. Input wildcard ingot, which means any form of ingot. Input 5 of every type of ingot, but only 5 of every type. Input 5 of every type of ingot, but leave 1. Like, it's phenomenal. The amount of logic there is here, which is really useful for Furnace's early game, because what you could do is tell it to only ever output to a furnace that's fueled by coal when it has 8 items to smelt, so that you're never wasting coal. Super cool, super cool. If statements are, if you know, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, equal to, it's just basically input from our source. If it has, oh, what does GT mean again? I couldn't tell you, but 10 Minecraft iron ingot, then output to destination 1. If the source does not have greater than 20 stone and source has 20 cobblestone, then output 20 to destination 2. Pretty cool. I think we'll just cover a couple more. There's a basic furnace manager where you can see how it can manage the sides. I just want you guys to know all the examples that are present. Filtering. It mentions you can use trailing commas for basic filters, asterisk for fuzzy match using regex, and you can exclude items too, such as input wildcard ingots except iron ingots and gold ingots from A, which is really cool. I want to use Super Factory Manager more. But there's also the simple program, input from A, output to B. There's round robin by block, which is if you wanted to spread items out to like a hydroponic bed farm or something. And they mentioned the new forget, where you forget your inputs, which is fantastic. Let's reset that program card, pick up this factory manager, put everything away for now. And as we can see, this finished, crafted a stack of every processor. Like I was saying, so powerful. You'll if you decide to watch my private server, supporter server, you'll be able to see all of the Super Factory Manager stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it for that because Super Factory Manager is more of an early to mid game system. It has a few use cases in late game. For instance, we could use it to code our fabricators and simulation chambers, but instead of that, I am actually going to go back to the original idea of using Xnet just because I prefer it. So let's clean up this router actually, just so that it doesn't have a NBT data. And let's prepare. I'm going to show how I would do this. So first and foremost, always, we need a controller for Xnet. Now we need connectors, and to make this easier on myself, I'm going to go one at a time for all the ones I have simulation cards in, which goes up to here. Now the first thing we need to do is designate some channels. I like to always come to channel 8, and I do my energy first. So we're going to create channel 8 energy, and energy is going to be pulled from the flux point. So extract, which can do a max of 100,000 a tick. And we need to input that energy to all the blocks that we have connected. Now, the next thing we need to do is we do need to connect to our interface here as well, but it doesn't need energy. The first thing I'm going to do in channel 1 is think of the process of getting loot from simulation modules. We need to put prediction matrices in the simulation chambers. So I'm going to grab one of these so I can set a filter easier. I'm going to come to our ME interface, and on channel 1, I'll make a Xnet item channel. We are going to extract, if it can, a stack. We don't need a high speed. These machines don't run fast, but we are going to extract prediction matrix on our channel 1. And we're going to come to our simulation chamber, and that is where it will be inserted. And we should see this get filled up. Now, the next thing to do is over here in channel 2, we're going to need another item network. And before we process the predictions, I want to process our mob predictions. I want to process our generalized predictions. So from this simulation chamber, we are going to extract stack if it can, generalized overworld prediction. You could do like a blanket of this. You could just extract everything, send it all to a chest, and then pull from the chest to the other chambers. I'm not going to do it that way. We're going to do it a little differently. But these generalized overworld predictions, we will insert into the ME network. So that handles the predictions of generalized. Now we need the witch prediction. So what I'll do is I'm going to make a third network, and this is where all of the mob predictions will be done. So let's make an Xnet item network, grab a witch prediction. I didn't mean to grab that many. And from the simulation chamber, extract witch prediction and insert it into a loot fabricator. Now back on this simulation chamber, channel 2. The only place this generalized overworld prediction is ever going to insert is into the ME interface. And what that means is we can add all of our extracts that are going to the ME network on this channel, such as from the loot fabricator. So just like that, this will get emptied out. Which predictions are being pushed in, and it's working. So what we're going to do now is, I believe we have 6 witches. So let's hook all these up. And what I'm going to do is I do want to use these. I'm just making sure they're empty because I was doing everything manually earlier. Since all these ones are the same, now that they're connected, I'm going to come to our one we set up for witches, and I'm just going to copy all of the settings we made. And since we're still doing... Oh, I needed to do insert witch prediction. Let's actually see if I can grab a witch prediction. Because this one we need to filter. And these will be all of our witch predictions. And to make it use all of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the channel 3. And I'm going to change it to round robin so that it spreads out, which it will as they come in. Perfect. Now, an important thing is that we need to make sure all of these have a loot to fabricate selected. I'm going to choose glowstone on the last one, glowstone on the second to last, and these 4 are going to be redstone, which those ones should already be set. Perfect. Now we've got some unique use cases. We've got Piglich, Wither, Ender Dragon. So what I'm going to do is grab those connectors, put them here, and let's grab some samples for our filtering. Come over here, and we already know that our input of prediction matrix, we don't need to do anything else for the code, so we'll just put those here. But our extracts are going to be ender prediction. Oh, extract, ender prediction. And we'll paste that down. And then an extract on the following network, we're going to go one by one. I'm going to pause the processing of this channel so that nothing gets put in the wrong place. And if we double click to highlight the one we are editing, this is the Piglich. So create an extract of Piglich, and on one of the loot fabricators, create an insert of Piglich. Next up in the line is our Wither. So we'll come over here, we'll create an extract of Wither and create a insert of Wither. And that means our last machine is in fact an extract of Ender Dragon and an insert of Ender Dragon. And then we can just copy our basic send the results to the main network. And let's turn back on processing. So hopefully, oh, we need more energy. We'll do the energy here in a second. Let's put the Piglich in, which is going to be hearts. Wither prediction, we're going to get nether stars. And that witch shouldn't be in there. this is going to be End Dragon, which I'm going to choose Dragon's Breath. Now, because this extract can only do a max of 100,000 per tick, what I'm going to do, there's a few options here, but what I think would work best, let's just add one more here and create an extract here. And let's see if we're getting enough energy now. Nope, still not quite reaching. We may, since these use so much energy, I'm actually thinking it would be better to not use Xnet for the power. For the power, what I'll do is some ultimate universal cable to these. Or, oh my gosh, guys, we didn't place the insert of power. What am I doing? Maybe it is enough. Maybe it is enough. Let's let it run and see if, okay, it is enough power. We'll have this as backup if we need it. Oh yeah, it can handle it. So we don't even need these. Okay. So I did a little bit of work. What is going on? There we go. On the Cerebro room. For those unfamiliar, I am doing an AE2 ultimate storage room that I am calling Cerebro, based off the X-Men comics and X-Men movies of what Professor X uses to amplify his power. And we've got something special here for Horizon. I was hoping Horizon would be on by now. But here in Cerebro, we're going to use Spatial IO to do multiple storage types within one location. Sorry, my wife is out shopping for a dress right now, and I'm just looking at the photos she sent. But Big Ol' Donut is telling me we need to start some reactors. So maybe we'll work on Cerebro in a little bit. We're going to do some very basic Extreme Reactor setups, just to get us started here. And I always like to make the book, because JEI doesn't quite tell you all the info for how to get all the different materials. Like, how do you get liquid rosenite? Doesn't tell you, okay? But the book will help you, if I remember right. I think it tells you the resources. I know how to get them, but mix two fuels into a new fuel. You need to modify. You need two fuel injectors. Okay, maybe it doesn't, but I know on the official All the Mods Discord, there is a chart someone has made. I would like to post that for everybody. Let me see if I can grab it really fast. Just a moment, folks. Oh, it's not in the favorite list anymore. Ooh, but they do apparently have a gallery for the updated ritual rework. That's right. So what they did, everybody, if you don't know, I'm going to show you something cool here. So they changed the occultism rituals and to multi-block. And what that means, guys, is one circle can be used for almost everything. You don't need 18 different circles for 18 different rituals. In this case, we're going to show that the Aviar's circle is actually integrated now into the spectral compulsion, and spectral compulsion is integrated into higher binding, which is integrated into permanent confinement, which finally is integrated into inverted tower. So you can do all your rituals with one circle, with one pentagram here. I just wanted to show that off. The only other thing I was really hoping to show they have a great chart somewhere. Let me see if I can find this. They have a great chart for extreme reactors. What? I'll just look up rosinite. See if that pulls it up. You know what? I don't see it, so we'll just have to figure it out as we go. Let's take our book, and we need to put these reactors somewhere, and I was thinking I'm going to put them on the roof of my base. Now, it is raining. Why don't we... I don't know. It's not a thunderstorm, so I can't sleep, but... do we have... I think we have enough R's set up that I could do a tablet of... I think it's Sunny Skies. Let me see here. Or is it Cloud Shaping Augmented? Okay, default, it sets the weather to clear. So let's take the ritual over to the R's area, which I believe there is a ritual brazier here. And tablet of cloud shaping. Let's clear the storm. We should see... oh, I was hoping we'd see the pulse go up into the sky, but maybe I wasn't fast enough. But the weather should go to clear. Unless it did it not have enough source? Okay, there we go. Weather is clear. So let's head to the roof, and the very first thing we need to do is start producing the materials from processing uranium. Now, normally you would make a basic reactor, and once you had steel, you would make a reinforced reactor. But we already have steel. And it looks like someone's already made a couple of the materials. So let's see. There is a reinforced controller, some reinforced casings, reinforced fuel rods, a little bit of reinforced glass, fuel injection port. We need 2 of those, and oh, well, we're not injecting yet. We're going to be doing solid fuel. So let's just actually get a solid fuel. Our control rods, and then we don't need the energy, but it's bad to have the reactor running with a full energy buffer. It's a little tiny bit of increase in TPS. So we need from Extreme Reactors, a reinforced energy hatch. Not the charging port, but just a active forge energy tap reinforced. And we'll just push that into an energy trash can. So let's build let's just do a 5x5. What are you guys thinking? How tall should we go? Should we just do 5x5x5? Because we don't need this for power. It's just for processing resources. Which means we don't need anything too crazy. Let's build this up really fast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our fuel injection and our solid access port here on the front. And then we need our outputs, and I'll put them over here on the side. Then we need our fuel rods, and we don't care about efficiency here. We want processing. So it is just going to be chock full, no cooling, give me the fuel rods type of reactor. And we're going to need a few more of these. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to do glass because it looks good. Let's put these down. We do need our controller. I think we did everything reinforced. I don't think we did anything basic. We do actually need the active energy tap, which I'll put up here. And the reactor is formed. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is grab a trash can. And we could just make a direct energy, but I kind of like having an ultimate. But the thing is, we don't have patterns, so I will just put an energy trash can. Because this is active, it means it actively pushes power. And these are going to be on inlet, inlet. This is going to be on outlet and outlet. Let's bring up AE2. Probably just to roughly here. Let's go grab a channel. And I'm actually going to grab a new P2P channel here. So let's see if my eyes will work for me. Oh, do I not have a pattern? I need a pattern for orange smart cable. Give me just a second, folks. So that's my P2P network. We'll need a memory card. And I'm just going to grab, like we're doing here. Let's go cable, P2P, come over to the main controller, and we're right here. Transfer those settings. Let's put a wireless transceiver, and then I need to get better at doing this. I have not been doing energy cards. I'm going to keep some in my network tool. But let's bind to this, give it energy cards, and bind to here with energy cards. Now let's grab some regular old Fluix cable. We're going to come over to here. And in our solid access port, if we have a look, we should have a good amount of uranium. We actually don't. Is it all being put to mechanism? Is that what's going on? Hopefully we have enough to use here. I think it's all going to Donut's mechanism setup. I had made like 300,000 uranium ingots, but I guess they are gone. And we just need a little bit of speed. So this should fill up with uranium. And from the uranium, we're going to import the cyanide. Let's go ahead and turn on the reactor. Make sure our fuel rods are fully extracted. And we're doing about 0.200 millibuckets a tick with this reactor, which is fantastic. It would be making 14,000 FE, but we just care about getting cyanide. Oh, there's mystical agriculture seeds for this. And bees. I did not know that. But cyanide, we can turn it into liquid cyanide. Or reprocess cyanide and water to plutonium. So let's make the reprocessor. And if we have a look at the reprocessor, lets you reuse spent fuel by converting waste product in the reactor into new fuel sources or other resources. And it needs the casing, glass, controller, waste injector, fluid injector, power port. I don't know what the collector does. And an output port. What does the collector do? Oh, it acquires the material from the interior once a reprocessing job is complete. Okay. So controller, waste, fluid, power, collector, output port. What's the difference here? I think we'll use the output port instead of the collector. We'll see if that works. But I believe, yeah, 3 by 3 and 7 blocks tall. Build from casing blocks and 1 each of the other device parts. Glass can be placed in the vertical faces of the machine. So this should be pretty easy to do. Let's go ahead and pull up Extreme Reactors again. And let's make some patterns, shall we? So we need reprocessor casing, which is going to take cyanide. I don't care about doing glass for it. We're going to need a controller, which does use prismarine shard, which, do we actually have prismarine seeds going? We do. So let's make prismarine shard a pattern. We got the controller. I don't think we need, or the collector acquires materials from the reprocessor interior once a job is complete. I really don't think we need that. But it says one of each. So just to be safe, we will make a pattern for the collector. Then waste injector. Fluid injector. We need prismarine crystal pattern. Reprocessor output. And power. Now, I don't think we'll have enough cyanite to do this next step yet. But that means we can probably work on Cerebro while we start collecting cyanite. Have we not even made one ingot yet, or are we not on auto eject? Oh yeah, we haven't depleted it yet. Or is it doing it as a fluid? It's doing it as a fluid. I don't want this. I'm going to go to input. Because liquid waste, if we look at cyanite, oh, I can just straight use the liquid. Oh, I have to. The liquid with plutonium. So we kind of need 2 reactors. But we'll get there. Little by little, step by step. Hopefully now we will get cyanite directly instead of liquid. Obviously, we could have made a big reactor for this to go faster, but I just really don't want to cause more lag on the server. The server's already laggy enough. I want to do a little bit of work on Cerebro. So the big thing I need to set up is the spatial system, because I'm going to use spatial storage to store segments of item storage in a separate dimension to help with spreading out the data. We're going to need a bunch of spatial pylons. And we're going to need, we have a Spatial IO port. I should only need a 16 cubed. I don't think I'm going to go bigger than that. So let's make a pattern for some 16 cubed spatial storage cells. Place these in here. Get our storage cell, our Spatial IO port once it stops lagging, and some pylons. I'm going to get rid of this glass because this is something for Horizon. I was really hoping Horizon would be back on by now, but that does not seem to be the case. But our spatial pylons, I want to make a good system here. The interior of the spatial pylons is what is pulled. So thinking about it, let's just grab some building blocks. I want to come 2 away and 2 down before we start the pylon. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we're going to... I'm not going to cable on this end. I'm going to do it all on the other end. So 1, 2, 3. That's as far as we need. This one needs to be connected. And then 16 back this way, where we will then add the rest here with our IO port. It needs to come up 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know how good our efficiency is going to be. Maybe I will. Let's think. 1, channel 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? We will. We'll go for 8. And 9. Now what I'm going to do is go cable. I'm getting a little complex here, but it's what I want to do. And dense. We'll need a controller for the way we're doing this. And we're going to need some energy cells. Preferably 2 super denses. Let me check my phone while those craft. Let's grab 1. So I want to be able to do fast cell swapping here. And it's going to need power. Beautiful. So we have a valid system here. Let's see what our energy efficiency is. 100%, so we don't need to worry about any more pylons. In fact, let's just test, can I get away with getting rid of these? No, 95%. So we want the max efficiency possible. Beautiful. Now, what we're going to do is hide these pylons using decorative blocks. But for now, let's just get started on setting up the storage. Now, in order to properly, if you will, in order to properly have this running when it's stored, it needs chunk loading, power, and a quantum ring. So let's get a quantum ring. We're going to need 16 rings and 2 link chambers. And then we need to make a singularity, which we'll just grab a ender pearl. And if you look at the in-world transformation, it's just an ender pearl and a singularity with an explosion. So ender pearl, singularity. We'll grab some tiny TNT and a flint and steel. turn off my magnet, and you know what? We'll try it on the glass. We'll see if this glass breaks, being that it's made of lead. It broke. But we got our singularity. And what we'll do is put the quantum ring. Ooh, why don't I grab some skulk? I like the idea of putting skulk as the floor. Down here. And I'm going to quantum ring from this end, actually. So this should all be within the restraints of our spatial IO. Oops, link chamber. Throw in one singularity. And then we need to connect the ring, and we are only going to go for the 32 channels. I still might try to P2P it. I don't know. Can you P2P, un-P2P quantum ring? Let's find out. I've never done it that way. I've always direct connected quantum rings. This will be a good experiment. I bet the memory card was on that screen. I just couldn't see it. Let's set this up. This quantum ring, I kind of want to pull it further out. So what I'm going to do is grab a bunch of... Oh, I also don't have orange dents as a pattern. Let's get that. Our orange dense cable. And what I'm going to do is pull the, let's see, we're currently at 532. I'm going to pull the orange dents over to this wall, pick up my tinkering table, and pull it over and over. Then go cable, P2P, quantum ring. I guess this kind of gets in the way of the door here. Why don't we change that? Let's go grab a P2P channel here. I'm going to try to grab one of my inner channels here. Yep, this one is unlinked. So let's grab that one. Paste it down. Yep, network booting. Let's see if it is valid. Okay, it is. Network online. Now, over on this end... Wait, how is it online? How did it get power? Either way, each of these, I want one dense supercell, a spatial anchor, and that is so that it stays loaded when it's stored. And then we're going to need a energy acceptor. So over here, for each of these, I'm kind of thinking purple cable. What do you guys think? I think purple would look good. I think so. So I'm going to drag purple along the back here. And then along this line, we need a super dense as well as a, where did it go? Spatial anchor. It's going to take a minute to boot up here. And then what I'm going to do is put down a energy acceptor and a flux point. Okay, energy stored, everything's online. And then what I'm going to do is grab some more purple cable. And this first one we are making, 1, 2, 3. Wait, which one was used? Oh, the spatial anchor uses a channel. I forgot about that. So we actually only get 31. So let's go 2, 4, 6, 8. In fact, why don't we come up? 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30 with one channel extra if needed. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put in a whole crap ton of extended drives. We need 30 of these. And this one, like I was saying, is going to be the bulk item storage. And by bulk item storage, I specifically mean bulk item cells, such as these. Now, just to see if this is working, let's grab our deep slate and place it in here. And do we see the deep slate once the network boots? It is compressed, which should mean oh, did I grab the cobbled or which did I grab? Okay, so this is the cobbled deep slate. Which if we have a look all the way up to 5x, 6x, yeah, okay, it is working. Now the beauty is, and this is where we're going to test, I'm going to eventually wire up a button system for this with a control panel. But for now, I'm going to do this manually. I'm just going to take a button. I'm going to put in my unformatted spatial storage cell. We can see it's going to require 510,000 RF to store it. And we have 51 million, so we're fine. Let's store. Oh. Interesting. It did not take the top. Let's pull this back. I must have messed up how I was doing this. Let's add one more. Oh, because it needs to be diagonal. Okay, yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad, folks. Let's make sure everything is still working. Yep. Working, connected, working. And let's try that again. Oh, Is there something in this row it doesn't want to grab? Something's not going right. Why is it erroring? 3 by 3 by 16. That's exactly what we have. I'm gonna play it safe. And right here, I'm gonna make it 3 by 3 by 4, or 3 by 4 by 16. Play it extra safe. I'm gonna put more spatial pylons down, just to get our efficiency back. Is it connected somehow? Somewhere? It shouldn't be. What on earth? Why isn't this grabbing? Sixteen, 16, 16, and I have a 3, 4. It's got to be it wants a bigger cell. That's all I can think of. Let's make a... Oh, I can't disassemble that. That's fine. Let's make a 128. It shouldn't need this, but for some reason, maybe it does. Let's find out together. Oh, that's the 16. This might take a second to craft. And let's try this. Okay, it took it that time. Now, the ultimate test. I am, just for looks sake, going to wire it like that. I think that looks good. Is our cobbled deep slate still visible? It is. Perfect. And we can pull it back. It'll take a second to boot, but comes online. Let's do a test here. So what I'm going to do, I was going to use matter transceivers from RF Tools for this. I might still do that. Let's make a dialing device. And that's going to be down here. For now, I'll just put it next to the block for Horizon. I really hope Horizon hops on. And we need a transmitter. And a receiver. Using corrupted pearls. Interesting. We'll put our receiver here, our transmitter. The receiver is going to be private. We want an access list. But for now, what we'll do public for testing, but this is going to be called Cerebro. And the transmitter is also on Cerebro. Let's add a flux point. Cerebro. Perfect. Now, in each system here, we're going to need another... I should have just made patterns for these. Let's just do that. I'm going to need another dialing device, another receiver, and another transmitter. Let's throw these patterns in here. And we'll grab a receiver, my transmitter, and dialing devices. We just need one of each. What I'll do is I'll put the dialing device above the flux point. And we'll put a transmitter on the side with a receiver here. And this is going to be called bulk item storage. And the reason I'm setting these up is so that if I ever need to, we should be able, if we store this again. Oh, flux points can't go with it. Flux points can't go with it. We got to use a different system. What can go with it? Okay. Wait, what didn't it craft? Oh, it's probably still crafting. Let's give this a minute. I just want to test if this block can go with the system here. If it can, awesome. If not, no harm, no foul. I've already got ideas of what could work here. Let's bring this online. And then I'm going to need to, on my Ender Cell network, let's just grab another Nitro Ender Cell. And for now, I'm just going to put it back here. Perfect. Now, does it... keep powering? It does. Okay. So now let's store and see if the Ender Cell goes with it. It did. Okay. So we come here and we want to go to bulk item storage. Oh, it worked. And it's loaded. Perfect. We'd have to go probably tiny to edit this if we ever needed to, but we should now also be able to go back home. Beautiful. I'm so happy that worked, guys. Let's bring it back, though. And move all of our bulk item cells over to this storage system. But before we do that, let's check. So all these are running at 500,000 priority. So what I'm going to do is actually grab that memory card back. And set this priority to 500,000. Copy it and paste that priority. Oops. To all of these. Now, if we have a look, they're all 500,000 prio. Let's come over here and try to be quick about this. Beautiful. Transfer complete. We have these other places, but I'll still... Let's grab a overflow destruction card, 2 of them. Go up to our cell workbench so that these work as item voids. I've been really bothered. I've been doing so much testing to try to figure out why this keeps stopping doing the 5x5. And I do not have an answer. Still got more testing to do. Let's come back over here. And over... You know what? Let's just do it right at the start. Cobble, water. Just get those out of the way. Now, I need to do a bunch of partitioning for more cell types of bulk item storage. And the way I normally do it is I work top down. Our mystical agriculture essences are being stored elsewhere. That's a whole nother project. But everything else, I kind of want to make a bulk item storage for all of the ingots, all of the charms, processors, everything. Why don't we start with, I don't think I did processors yet. Nope, I haven't. So let's get 4 bulk item cells. And you know what? This would be a lot easier if I kept a cell workbench down here. Perfect. And this one we will do, so if we just type processor, we'll do logic. And, oh, I also need... The problem is I need this MEIO port to stock them up. Obviously, we don't have any logic right now because we're crafting those on demand, but we're soon going to be turning back on auto crafting for those. So it's good to have it done. Then let's partition calculation. in our MEIO port here. Grab another one of these. Maybe we can just do both up here before we fly back down. This is our engineering. And then this should be done any moment. Just gotta wait for it here. Okay, for a second there, I thought my chat wasn't working. We're good. Let's grab the last cell and set it to accumulation. And add these. And for now, we'll call that good. We'll go ahead and store this. For now, I'm just going to grab a chest here. Put it underneath. And do a hopper upgrade, which, yeah, we already have one. And I want the hopper upgrade setting to be pull from the top. And we're going to use filters to move these. Now, the thing is I want this to be named. So let me actually store, just to be safe, grab a Certus knife and a iron ingot. I'm going to call this bulk item storage. And then we'll come over to an inscriber that's not doing anything. And we will format this. Bulk item storage. So now if it pulls, it's going to be called bulk item storage. And I can use that item name with item filters and buttons to say, put bulk item storage up here type of deal. If that makes sense. The only other thing, I want to get another quantum ring. So let's get 16 of these and 2 chambers. Grab a singularity and ender pearl. Some tiny TNT. And our flint and steel. Put that down, make sure the magnet's off for now, and then throw these on the ground. Turn our magnet back on for a moment. I feel like we're duplicating leaded glass. I'm not 100% sure. Let's build up another ring. Similar to the last setup. I'm going to come over here and grab some cable. I do need a P2P tunnel. Now I don't want them touching, so this one's going to be here. P2P tunnel. Grab a base from the bottom row again. Feed this in. And quantum ring. Now, similar to the last setup, we need to add all the machines, but we're going to be doing something a little different for this one. Let me run a dense along the bottom. And then very quickly make a energy acceptor. Oops. I'm going to put that. How are we going to do the dialing? We could do the dialing. I'm going to change this a little bit. Put the energy acceptor. Bring over the cable. Like so. This will be the last one we build up before we call the episode. Need a super dense and a spatial anchor. I need one of our sending systems. And we need another nitro energy cell, which I really should just make patterns for. Let's go nitro ender cell. Place that down and then do a very quick receiver, transmitter, dialing device with a super dense energy cell and a spatial anchor. And this is going to be called crafting CPUs. And we want to always be dialed back to Cerebro. We're going to need another 128 spatial cell. Which is also going to be named. We're going to call this crafting CPUs. Oh, not GPUs. And that should have finished, right? Perfect. Quickly grab this. Go ahead and store those press names. But over here, let's load this up to take items. And what we're going to place here is the following. We're going to grab... I'm not going to do mega crafting monitors. We make a bunch of coprocessors. That shouldn't take too long. Coprocessors are cheap. and then just some 1M mega crafting storages. Now, if we look and place gaps, we can do 1, 2. So if we count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I can do 12. Yeah. So we need 12 of these. These should craft up pretty fast. But in the meantime, I can get these placed. I guess it's going to have to be... or here. Here's how I'll do it. Get these placed while everything is crafting. Now, the point of this is to add more small crafting job holders. And we're going to do something very specific with them. I'm going to go ahead and cancel these. Let this go really fast. It really shouldn't... I don't think it's going to take 9 minutes. I think it'll actually be a lot faster than that. But for those who don't know, let me show you over on some of these. Inside of crafting units, you can change the selection system of what can craft on this CPU. You can set it to players or automation, just automation, or just players. And all of these are going to be set to just automation. It's purely for increased automation. And I just realized how I can fit the others, which is going to be like so. Use a bit more of our 32 channels. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more 1M crafting. I'm going to cancel the current 1M crafting and just set it to 18. Yeah, there we go. Now the timer's a little more accurate. It's not quite there because of TPS, server lag, that kind of stuff. Well, that's going. Let's see how much cyanite we have gotten during this time. We've gotten 10, so we're getting close. I'm sure one overnight session and we'll be good to go. Let's head into Cerebro and start setting these up. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and these, once the network boots, are going to be only for requests by automation. Beautiful. I think this is going to be great. So tell you what, I'll go ahead and finish up waiting for these to craft and placing them all, setting them all to be automation only. And just like that, we'll have bulk item storage done. We'll have automation done. And then we're going to start doing partition cells and other stuff like that. I might do a lot of work on Cerebro off screen. And I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll stream it. Maybe we won't. But Horizon never got on. I just thought I would show you guys I had for Horizon, who I promised one dirt block for when they returned. I have for them, I don't remember how to pull off. I'm just going to break it. A 9x dirt block. Almost 400 million dirt, but it's one block. And that's for Horizon. So thanks everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this longer stream. I'm trying to slowly push out the duration for which I do streams. And have a wonderful day or night wherever you may be in the world, and I'll catch you next time. But for now, bye-bye.